Welcome to our channel, where hidden treasures wait to be uncovered in the smallest places. Imagine holding a coin worth thousands of dollars, right there in your pocket, overlooked by most but priceless to those who know. Make sure to watch till the end to discover some of the most valuable quarter-dollar coins and their surprising values. Have you ever held a simple coin in your hand and felt like it held a secret? A whisper from the past, etched in metal, just waiting for the right person to listen. The 2021 Washington crossing the Delaware quarter is one of those coins. At first glance, it may seem like just another quarter, just another shiny piece of change passed between hands. But if you pause, look closely, and know what to listen for, it begins to tell a story that stretches across centuries. This coin takes us back to one of the most daring, most courageous nights in American history. It was December 25, 1776, Christmas night. Most of the country had lost hope. The Revolutionary War was faltering. Morale was low, supplies were scarce, and many soldiers had already deserted. But General George Washington had a vision, and a plan. Under the cover of darkness and freezing rain, he led a force of 2,400 soldiers across the icy Delaware River. It was a dangerous mission. Ice clogged the waters, the temperature plunged below freezing, and the river's current was swift. But Washington was undeterred. This was not a man content to wait. This was a leader willing to risk everything. And that crossing, against all odds, led to a surprise victory at the Battle of Trenton the very next morning. It was a turning point, a spark of hope when hope was nearly extinguished. That night didn't just change the outcome of a battle, it changed the trajectory of a nation. More than 2 centuries later, the U.S. Mint decided to honor that moment, not with fanfare or a special event, but with something humble and enduring, a coin. And not just any coin, but one that millions would carry in their pockets. The 2021 quarter was designed not just to commemorate, but to embody the spirit of that cold December night. That on the front, we see a familiar face, George Washington. But this time, it's the original portrait by John Flanagan, restored to its bold 1932 version. There's a quiet power in his expression, a reminder of the man's enduring legacy. But it's the reverse of the coin that truly commands attention. There, Washington stands in his long coat, his sword drawn, eyes forward. He's on the edge of the boat, leading once again. Behind him, rowers fight the current. You can almost feel the icy spray of the river, the tension in the air, the urgency of the moment. This isn't just a coin, it's a snapshot of resolve, etched into metal. A reminder that progress often begins with risk. That leadership means stepping into the unknown, even when success is uncertain. What makes this coin even more intriguing is that it was issued for 1 year only. Just one. It wasn't part of a decades-long series. It wasn't a continuation of a previous program. It stood on its own, marking a transition between the America the Beautiful quarters that ended in 2021 and the new American Women quarters program that followed. That 1-year mintage gives it a certain mystique, a kind of numismatic pause in history. And while it was minted in large numbers, not all quarters are created equal, because the real magic begins when you look deeper. Some of these coins were struck with such precision and preserved with such care that they've become extremely desirable to collectors. Others left the mint with tiny, rare flaws, misalignments, doubled letters, or subtle variations in the strike. These aren't defects. They're hidden signatures, rare fingerprints from the minting process that make a coin stand out from the rest. For collectors, such pieces are incredibly special. And depending on the coin's condition, clarity, and uniqueness, its value can increase significantly. Some of the finest examples, those kept in pristine, untouched condition since the day they were minted, can be worth far more than their 25-cent face. Especially when paired with rare characteristics or unique mint errors, these coins have been known to rival even older, more well-known pieces in terms of value. The potential of a single coin to become one of the most valuable quarters of the modern era is not just possible, it's already being recognized by collectors and enthusiasts around the country, and that's the beauty of it. You could be holding this coin in your hand and not even know it. It might be hiding in a cup holder, tucked into a drawer, or lying forgotten in a pile of spare change. The right coin, in the right condition, with the right story behind it, it holds a value that's not only financial, but emotional, historical, and deeply personal, because this coin doesn't just honor an event. It captures a feeling. The tension before a decision. The strength it takes to act. The quiet bravery that shapes the future. Washington didn't know what waited for him on the other side of that river. But he crossed it anyway. And that spirit, of courage in the face of uncertainty, is what this coin embodies. So the next time you hear coins clinking together, don't be so quick to spend them. Take a closer look. Feel the edges. Notice the weight. Examine the image. Because that ordinary quarter might just be something much more. It might be a piece of history. A tribute to bravery. A symbol of leadership and legacy. And, yes, it could even be one of the most valuable quarters out there today. Not every coin tells a story. But this one does. And if you're lucky enough to find it in the right condition, you might just find yourself holding a treasure that crossed centuries to reach you. The next rare quarter isn't flashy. It doesn't gleam with gold or announce itself with unusual size or shape. In fact, it might be hiding right now in a pocket, a purse, or a forgotten jar of coins on a shelf. But this one, this unassuming piece of American currency, carries a story few people know. It's the 1996 quarter dollar, and its journey from everyday coin to extraordinary collector's prize is one that still captures the imagination of coin lovers across the country. Think back to 1996. The world was changing fast. The internet was starting to reshape how people connected. The economy was strong, and the future seemed full of promise. Amid all that, the U.S. Mint kept doing what it had done for decades, striking quarters by the millions. On the surface, it was business as usual. Coins bearing the classic Washington design were rolling off presses in Philadelphia and Denver, each one expected to play its small role in American life, buying gum, paying tolls, filling piggy banks. Most people never looked twice at these coins. But every coin tells a story, and every once in a while, a few of them tell stories that no one expects. The 1996 quarter, struck at the Denver Mint, was produced in vast numbers, over 900 million, in fact. By all accounts, it should be one of the most ordinary coins in circulation. But here's where things get interesting. Somewhere among those hundreds of millions, a handful of quarters were struck with such precision, preserved so perfectly, and handled so carefully that they would eventually be recognized as being in a class entirely their own. If you were to hold a 1996 quarter in your hand, at first glance it might look just like any other Washington quarter. The obverse shows the familiar profile of George Washington, facing left, framed by the word Liberty above and the national motto, In God We Trust, to the side. The date, 1996, anchors the lower edge, and to the right, just beside the ribbon in Washington's hair, sits the tiny D mint mark, signifying Denver. Flip it over, and the reverse reveals the bold American eagle, wings stretched wide, perched on a bundle of arrows. It's surrounded by a wreath of olive branches, a lasting symbol of both strength and peace. This reverse design had been used since 1932, giving it an iconic place in the history of U.S. coinage. So what makes this quarter special? What lifts it out of the crowd? It's not just about what was made. It's about what survived, and how. Most coins from 1996 entered circulation and were quickly subjected to the rough treatment of everyday life. They were tossed, dropped, scraped, rubbed down over years and years of use. But a tiny number of 1996 quarters avoided all of that. Somehow, by luck or timing or sheer chance, they were never used. Never touched. Never marred by time. And when these rare survivors were later discovered, they astonished collectors and grading experts alike. In coin collecting, the most sought-after pieces are often those in mint state condition, graded MS, short for mint state. The scale goes from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect, flawless coin. Most coins never come close. But a few 1996 quarters have been found at grades as high as MS 68, nearly perfect, with razor-sharp detail and blinding original luster. Under magnification, even the smallest design elements remain crisp and unmarred. Some examples go a step further. They show unique mint errors or characteristics, slight misalignments, unusual textures, or doubled features, that were never intended to leave the mint. These quirks, far from being flaws, are what make a coin one of a kind. They are the fingerprint of a rare moment on the mint floor, captured forever in metal. Over time, stories began to circulate. One particular 1996 D-quarter, preserved in breathtaking condition, was graded among the highest ever recorded for that year and mint. It quickly became legendary, not only for its state of preservation, but for how it represented the perfect storm of rarity, history, and mystery. And this is where value comes in. For most people, a 1996 D-quarter is still worth 25 cents. It's a simple piece of pocket change. But for the collectors who know what to look for, and for the coin that sits at the top of its class, the value is something else entirely. That single, near-perfect 1996 D-quarter, with its untouched surfaces, blazing luster, and unmatched grading, has now been valued at $45,000. What makes this story even more thrilling is that these coins weren't sold in special sets. They weren't handed out at collector conventions. They were released like every other quarter, intended to be spent and forgotten. Which means that the next rare 1996 D-quarter could still be out there, undiscovered, untouched, quietly waiting in someone's drawer or coin jar, and that possibility keeps collectors searching. It keeps the story alive, because coin collecting isn't just about money. It's about the chase, the history, the beauty in small things. It's about holding a piece of the past that somehow made it through the chaos of time without a scratch. A reminder that, even in a world of mass production, some things still emerge unique. So if you find a quarter from 1996, take a second look. Check for the D mint mark. Hold it up to the light. Study the surface. Look closer than you usually would. Because you never know, what feels like ordinary change might be carrying an extraordinary story. A coin that traveled quietly through decades, avoided the wear of time, and now carries with it a value most people would never imagine.
Up next, we explore a coin that might seem ordinary at first glance but holds an extraordinary secret: the 1993 D-quarter dollar. It's a coin many people have seen, touched, and perhaps spent without a second thought. George Washington's profile on the front is as familiar as the face of a longtime friend, and the eagle on the back is a classic American symbol that has graced quarters for decades. But beneath this common exterior lies a fascinating tale of rarity, precision, and surprising value. The year 1993 was unremarkable in many ways. It was a time when the world was rapidly changing, technology was advancing, pop culture was thriving, and America was in the midst of economic growth. The Denver Mint was hard at work, producing millions of quarters for everyday use. These coins made their way into pockets, cash registers, and coin jars across the country, performing the quiet, steady job of facilitating daily transactions. What most people don't realize is that within this massive production run, a very small number of 1993 D-quarters were struck with exceptional care and have survived in near-perfect condition. While most quarters show signs of circulation, scratches, wear, fading luster, these rare specimens remain almost untouched. Their surfaces retain the original mint luster, and every detail is sharp and crisp, as if frozen in time since the day they were made. The secret to their value lies in this impeccable preservation. When professional graders examine coins, they look for minute imperfections, anything from microscopic scratches to slight discolorations, that can affect a coin's grade and, in turn, its worth. The highest grades, like MS-68 or above, are reserved for coins that are virtually flawless. For a 1993 D-quarter, achieving such a grade is incredibly rare, given how many were produced and circulated. Collectors prize these coins not only for their condition but also for the story they represent. The 1993 D-quarter dollar stands at a unique crossroads in American coinage history, just a few years before the U.S. Mint introduced the State Quarters program in 1999. This program transformed the quarter into a canvas of American heritage and history, but before that, the Washington quarter was a timeless, unchanging emblem of the nation. This makes the 1993 D-quarter more than just a coin, it's a symbol of an era, a tangible piece of history that bridges the past with the future. It invites collectors to appreciate the craftsmanship and care taken by the mint during that period. Beyond condition, Some of these quarters also feature subtle minting variations that can make them even more desirable. Slight die cracks, doubling of details, or unusual strike characteristics can elevate a coin's appeal and value. These quirks are tiny imperfections born from the minting process itself, turning an everyday coin into a rare collectible. The journey of these coins from mint to collection is part of what makes them so special. Many were saved by chance, found in old coin rolls, forgotten jars, or passed down through generations. Others have been meticulously cared for by collectors who recognized their potential early on. The rarity of well-preserved examples and the growing interest in collecting coins from the early 90s have only increased their allure. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, the reveal. While most 1993 D quarters are still worth only their face value, those that have been preserved in pristine, mint condition can command astonishing prices. The finest 1993 D quarter dollars, graded by professional services at the highest levels, have reached values as high as $54,000. This astonishing figure illustrates just how valuable condition and rarity can make a coin. It's a reminder that sometimes, what appears to be ordinary holds extraordinary worth beneath the surface. The 1993 D quarter, unassuming to most, is a shining example of this truth. What makes this coin's story even more compelling is that these valuable examples were never released as special editions. They were produced like any other quarter, slipped quietly into circulation, making their way into the hands of everyday Americans. That means the next extraordinary 1993 D quarter might be sitting unnoticed in your own change jar or somewhere in your home, waiting to be discovered. This idea sparks a sense of wonder and possibility for collectors and casual coin enthusiasts alike. It's a reminder that treasure doesn't always come with a map or a label. It's sometimes hidden in plain sight, in the smallest and most ordinary objects. So the next time you handle a 1993 D quarter, don't just see it as a piece of currency. Look closely, appreciate the design, the history, and the journey that coin has taken. It might just be one of those rare, perfectly preserved gems that carry a value far beyond the mere 25 cents it represents. In the quiet, everyday world of coins, stories like this remind us of the magic hidden in the smallest places. The 1993 D quarter dollar is more than just a coin. It's a testament to the art of minting, the patience of collectors, and the surprising wonders that can be found when we look a little closer. And for those lucky enough to find one in exceptional condition, it represents a treasure with a value that can reach as high as $54,000. A truly remarkable journey for a humble quarter.
Saving the very best for last, this coin isn't just rare, it's a true legend among collectors. The 1990 D quarter dollar stands at the pinnacle of value and rarity, making it the crown jewel of today's video. What looks like an ordinary quarter is actually a masterpiece of minting precision and historical significance, commanding attention, and a price that few coins ever achieved. In 1990, while millions of quarters were produced at the Denver Mint for everyday use, only a select few were struck with such exceptional quality and have survived in such pristine condition that they transcend their humble origins. These coins possess a brilliance and sharpness that few others can match, a silent testament to the craft and care that went into their creation. That year, the world was changing rapidly. The Cold War was coming to a close, technology was taking leaps forward, and American culture was in a state of flux. Yet the United States Mint remained steadfast in its role, producing the coins that keep the country's economy running smoothly. The quarter, with its familiar design featuring George Washington's profile, was a symbol of stability amid change. If you look closely at a 1990 D quarter, you'll see the familiar profile of Washington facing left, surrounded by the inscriptions, Liberty, and, In God We Trust. The date, 1990, sits proudly beneath his neck, and the small, D, mint mark indicates it was struck at the Denver Mint. On the reverse, the eagle spreads its wings wide, clutching arrows and olive branches, symbols of strength and peace that have graced the quarter for decades. But what separates the most valuable 1990 D quarters from the millions produced is not just the design, it's their condition and the subtle qualities that make them stand apart. Most coins from this era show signs of wear, scratches, and dullness caused by circulation. However, the rare specimens that collectors seek possess a sharp strike with details so crisp that the lines in Washington's hair and the feathers of the eagle are clearly visible and perfectly defined. the lustrous surfaces of these coins gleam as if they were freshly minted, free from the blemishes and abrasions that time inflicts on most circulating coins. This level of preservation is extraordinary considering these quarters were meant for everyday use and were struck in the hundreds of millions. Condition is everything in the coin collecting world. Experts use a grading scale to evaluate coins, with mint state, MS, grade starting at 60 and going up to a perfect 70. Coins graded MS 68 or above are exceedingly rare and highly prized because they show almost no imperfections to the naked eye or even under magnification. These rare 1990D quarters have achieved those top grades and have become highly sought after by collectors and investors alike. Their scarcity is compounded by the fact that very few were saved or cared for in such pristine condition over the past 3 decades. Many were spent, lost, or damaged, leaving only a handful of these gems to rise above the rest. Adding to the intrigue, some of these quarters bear subtle minting anomalies, tiny errors or variations in the striking process that are barely noticeable but add another layer of uniqueness and desirability. These imperfections can range from slight doubling of letters or numbers to faint die cracks or unusual planchet characteristics. For collectors, these traits transform a common coin into an extraordinary collectible. Beyond the technical and aesthetic appeal, the 1990D quarter dollar represents a moment in American coinage history just before a major shift. In 1999, the U.S. Mint launched the State Quarters program, which would forever change the quarter's appearance and capture the imagination of collectors nationwide. The 1990D quarter stands as a symbol of the last years of the classic Washington quarter era, a quiet, unassuming time before the quarter became a canvas for celebrating state heritage and national pride. Holding one of these rare, near-perfect 1990D quarters is like holding a piece of that transitional history, a tangible connection to a time when America was on the cusp of change but still rooted in tradition. It reminds collectors that even the most common coins can harbor hidden treasures, waiting to be uncovered with a keen eye and a little luck. Now, here's the moment you've been waiting for. While most 1990D quarters still trade at face value, those rare examples that meet the highest grading standards have reached astonishing values. Today, a pristine 1990D quarter dollar can command as much as $64,000. This staggering figure is a testament to the power of rarity, condition, and collector passion. It shows that in the world of numismatics, something as small and seemingly ordinary as a quarter can hold incredible worth, both financially and historically. What's even more exciting is that these coins were never specially minted for collectors nor released in limited quantities. They were produced as everyday currency, distributed nationwide, and slipped into circulation alongside millions of others. That means the next valuable 1990D quarter could be hiding in your own pocket, a jar of loose change, or a forgotten drawer, just waiting for someone to recognize its true value. So, as we conclude our journey through today's rare and valuable quarters, remember this: the 1990D quarter dollar isn't just the final coin we're showcasing, it's the ultimate treasure. It's a story of chance, history, and enduring beauty captured in metal. And for those fortunate enough to find one in top condition, it represents a prize worth tens of thousands of dollars. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more fascinating stories about rare coins and collectibles, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss an update. If you found this interesting, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and leave a comment below telling us which coin surprised you the most or if you've ever found a hidden treasure in your change. Your support really helps the channel grow, and I love hearing from you.